What's up, everybody? It's Soren Baker.
Amir, Rahimi.
And today on The Great Debaters, getting into some D.O.C. All right, everybody, we're back here on The Great Debaters. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate the support. And as always, if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button right down there, and it's free. And if you have subscribed, please tell a friend so we can keep growing here at Unique Access, give you more great interviews, more episodes of The Great Debaters, and as things keep growing, more other things. So we're excited for all that to be happening. So thank you for getting us here, and we appreciate your continued support. Now, Amir, D.O.C. to this point is amazing. 3 Feet High and Rising. D.O.C. is dead. Then they come back with Buhloone Mindset. What were your early impressions, early interactions in getting in with this album?
Well, first thing I noticed was how small the track list was compared to like D.O.C.'s Dead in particular. That was like
massive.
I think it was I think the track list had like over 25 songs or something like that. And I had seen this and it was 15. Doesn't say on the tape, but I think it's like 15.
It's 15 on the CD.
There we go.
Because I know there's all different versions of things.
Yeah, so that was interesting. I wanted to see like if there'd still be as many skits or whatever once I saw that, but I listened to it and I thought it was very interesting because, you know, it's called Buhloone Mind State, but they don't spell balloon the way it's supposed to be spelled. They spell it in their type, you know, Buhloone. So I was like, okay, what's this all about? And then when I heard the intro, I was like, okay, this is pretty clever with the, you know, it might blow up, but it won't go pop, etc. I thought that was cool. But then getting to my first track, which is Trippin Part Two. It's the last track on side 1 of the tape. So, Trippin Part Two, one of the singles, really, really, really awesome song. I really like the yelling in the beginning. I thought that was cool. But this song is just, the beat for one is just excellent. But on top of that, we have dope verses by Trugoy and Pasta Noose, and I really like a lot of the homage they're paying on this song. You know, you got like They Ain't No Half Steppin' for Big Daddy Kane, you got Ultramagnetic MCs, you have Boogie Down Productions, you have P-Rock and CL Smooth and others. So I really enjoyed that about it, and they even make references to like their old songs, like, you know, No More Potholes in the Lawn and stuff like that. And I just think that the way the rapping on this song is super awesome, and I really like their style on this, and it's very different from the stuff that we had heard on D.O.C.'s Dead and 3 Feet High and Rising. So you can see them changing, but also still sounding very good. The way they're rapping, the type of instrumentals they're rapping on. So I really appreciated that. I like to see artists grow or evolve or switch up and still sound good. And on top of that, one thing I want to mention is I also have the CD single in my hand here. And this song is so good that, for one, D.O.C. in particular, if you guys only listen to albums, you're kind of doing a disservice because their singles also have a lot of stuff that didn't make the albums. I know Soren can attest to that. So on this CD single, they have a song called Lovely How I Let My Mind Float. So that's a track that didn't make the album. That's dope. On top of that, there's other versions of this song that aren't just remixes. They also have different verses, different instrumentals. So like there's Trippin'. I don't remember if it's Part 2 or Part 3. I think it's the Part 3 that has like different verses and different beat. So make sure to check out this single, check out everything on it. There's remixes and other versions of the song that are really dope, and don't sleep on those. Trippin', not only is it a great song, but the single has more to offer. So that's my first pick.
Trippin Part 2 is also one of my picks. I think it's great for all those reasons you mentioned, and I really, you know, in this 1993 era, you know, we had Gangsta Rap for several years now. Gangsta Rap had been dominating for several years, and New York artists in particular were, I think, doing their best to pay homage to what had happened, you know, in the early days.
Yeah.
And this is a great example of that, shouting out the golden era in particular, and referencing that as D.O.C. has done throughout their career. But this is yet another example of them doing it, and doing it in a way, paying homage, referencing, freaking, twisting, making it their own, and all these different things. And I like the different voices you're bringing in, just all this different stuff that they do, and they've done up to this point in their career. They had done that on a regular basis. So all of that I enjoyed. All of that I thought was great. I thought the video was hilarious, awesome, and then the Roots used basically this template for what they do a few years later. So I thought that was interesting as well. So this song, I just think is amazing, and like Amir said, for those of us that got albums and the singles too, when they wanted or needed to, it was just like, man, this song has so many layers in the original version, but then all these remixes and other things just add so much to it and add just a whole other layer and heft and experience to it that I thought was pretty awesome. So Ego Trippin Part 2 is also one of my picks. Amir, what's your second pick?
Second pick, I'm gonna go with the song Area. Area, I think, is really just a clever song. I think the concept of it is just awesome. Obviously, a lot of people may know even more about Ludacris's Area Codes. A little different, but that's also a great song. But this one, Area, coming out in 1993, is super clever. I really enjoy the instrumental. I think it's just cool how they're just talking about different area codes and different experiences that they had with these different like cities and places that they visited or had business with or whatever. And then, I just find that cool. They're shouting out, obviously, their hometown as well in there. But on top of that, too, you have like that one part of the song where there's this punk or whatever, then they had to get beat down from that area code, then there's another area code where he's got a marvelous thing, then there's these other area codes. So I just thought it was just, De La Soul is really good at, or they were really good at just thinking of just interesting and unique concepts. And I have a feeling that, De La Soul, they were probably just sitting down and thinking, how can we make, the listener think, how can we do something different, how can we be outside the box? I think they are those type of artists, and it's very clear with a lot of their concepts and a lot of their album themes. But this song in particular, I can tell that they were thinking about it, and I thought the execution of it was excellent. I like the flows on it, but like I said, that beat is just also really good for the concept. Really enjoy it, and yeah, man, that's my second pick.
That is not one of my picks, although I do appreciate the ingenuity of it. My second pick is I Am I Be. And this song I really like in particular because of Posdnuos' verse, the first verse in particular, which he repeats in a sense, and the third verse. But, this is a song where it kind of matches the somberness of the jazz / the music that's there. And Posdnuos is basically talking about the disappointment, his mom passing, and then kind of like the reality of becoming an adult in a sense of, the native tongues kind of dissolution at this point and kind of what they were going through. Like, we thought we were going to be down forever, but we're really not. And that reality sinking in and hitting him super extra hard as he demonstrates on I Am I Be. And I think it also just speaks to, as you get older, certain things you thought were gonna be your reality don't end up being your reality. And I Am I Be, to me, is one of those examples where Posdnuos in particular on that first verse, which I think is brilliant, just shows that disappointment and that frustration of that reality setting in. Because especially when you've done all the great stuff up to Buhloone Mind State, where you have these great collaborations and you're with Tribe Called Quest, you're with Jungle Brothers, you're with Queen Latifah, you're with Moni Love, and you're having all this success, and you more or less, I'd say, almost, if not basically universal acclaim. And then De La Soul, in addition to that, and as its own unit within that, is also viewed as one of the most brilliant rap groups of all time to that point. And to then see that behind the scenes stuff as a person really fall apart right in front of you through whatever reasons, man, that's definitely a tough thing to experience. And I think he articulates that well on I Am I Be. And I do think that the music on there kind of complements this wistful, somber, disappointed, reflective type of feel, a bit of melancholy as well. And I just think that's one of my favorite Posdnuos performances of all time. And I just think it just really shows and crystallizes the disappointment of becoming an adult, having responsibility, understanding things aren't the way you thought they were going to be, and explaining it in a way that's very personal and articulating this pain in a way that I didn't think we got a lot of in this manner in rap. So I just thought it was just very well done, very well executed, and kind of in a similar way, De La Soul's Dead dealt with the idea of we're not these rap hippies, so we're doing this other thing. And then IMIB on Buhloone Mindset just then gets into the other wrinkle of that, which is none of what we thought was happening is happening. Like, we came out, people labeled us one way, we didn't appreciate that label, and now on top of that, our crew has also fallen apart. So powerful stuff. So that's my second pick. Before we get to your third pick, Amir, did you want to add anything about IMIB?
No, I think you summed it up pretty well. It's a good song, man.
Well, there it is. So, Amir, what is your third pick on De La Soul's Buhloone Mindset?
All right, last pick. It's a tough one. Feel like every video it's pretty tough. I wanted like Breakadawn. I wanted Patty Duke. Shout out to Guru, rest in peace as well. I'm gonna go 3 Days Later, which is not really like a conventional pick for me, but I really enjoy the instrumental on this, and that's my main driving factor because, like I said, like Breakadawn and Patty Duke and IMIB, and really, like I said, this album is it's short compared to their other albums in terms of track listing purposes, so there's a lot of good songs, really not really any fluff. So it is a tougher one, but I'm going to go ahead and go 3 Days Later. And 3 Days Later, one, like I said, I really enjoy the instrumental, but on top of that too, I really enjoy how Posdnuos and Trugoy are, the way that their flow is on quite a few of their bars on here, where they drag on the last line or the last word of each of their bars, where he says like crystal and missile. I like how they're kind of on the same page on that, and they clearly did that intentionally. So they're on the same page. I just really like when you can tell that a group or an artist or artists, they think about what they're doing and then it works out. And I think that they do that throughout their careers, and it's very evident on this song that they're like, okay, well, we're going to have this kind of flow and we're going to have this concept. And Posdnuos' his story is very different than Trugoy's story, but his is where, he meets a girl named Crystal. She's like a hot girl, whatever, and he gets the digits from her, and then he licked her like a stamp and hit it like a champ, and then he got burned. So, and then in the chorus you hear the schizo. So it's like De La Soul has a lot of very interesting ways of going about making songs, and I think in a lot of instances they work. I think in this instance it does work. It is definitely a bit different, but I like it. And I do prefer Posdnuos' verse on this one to Trugoy's, because it also had like the 3 Days Later where, okay, he gets burned and whatever, whereas the Trugoy one, he got shot and he died. So it's kind of like, what's the 3 day on this one? Maybe it went over my head, but like I said, their flow is dope on that one, how they're on the same page, and the beat is really dope. That's going to be my third pick. What's your, Soren?
That's not my third pick. I did appreciate the storytelling prowess and kind of taking these, as De La Soul is known to do throughout their discography, to kind of look at some of the disappointing or frustrating parts of life as they do there as well. But mine is Breakadawn, because I love the instrumental. It's so good and really festive. And then, Posdnuos also references the native tongues on here with Jungle Brothers on the Run. So I was kind of like, is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? I wasn't sure when this was coming out. And that kind of prepped me for when I then heard the album and heard the IMIB. But I like it when you have those types of references. And And then of course the reference of put you in the stew again, all that stuff, referencing I imagine peas porridge. So it's all these different things that are going on lyrically. One of the many things that I love about rap is all these different, it's such a coded language, and the rhymes refer to all these other things. And in order to truly appreciate the art at the highest level, you have to really understand and decipher all these things that are being referenced, and the play on words and the samples and all that. So Breakadawn, I thought, was yet another example of D.O.C doing this and doing it at a super high level, very imaginative, creative. And then to make it a single on top of that, I thought was pretty cool, because a lot of times some of these albums that Amir and I go through, a lot of the best songs are singles, but sometimes they're not. And when an artist or the label or however it ended up working out picks a song that I think is one of the best three, but it also is a single, there's a certain level of like, okay, you know, we're on the same page here, or I understand why they did that type of thing. And that to me adds a certain level of like, okay, they really did put their best foot forward on the business side of things, because the people that listen to this album that I've talked to, or I remember talking to when Buhloone Mind State was first coming out, Breakadawn was one of the songs they liked a lot. And that's obviously they had a video, obviously it was a single, and obviously D.O.C was a super prominent group at the time. And that's, you know, it's just kind of a cool thing when one of the best songs that you like the most is one that people you're around also are familiar with. And Breakadawn was that. So anyway, anything you want to add on that before we go, Amir?
No, it's an excellent song. That was fighting to be in my picks as well. And that's another one too. If I recall, that song, if you go on the CD single or the vinyl single, whatever single you have, it's got extra tracks on it. So if you haven't heard D.O.C's music in a while, go ahead and check out some of their singles. There's a chance that you haven't heard some of the B-sides on there or remixes, because they did have a lot of stuff that didn't make albums, that's for sure.
For sure. So there it is, y'all. You got my 3 picks. You got Amir's 3 picks. As always, hit that subscribe button. Tell a friend if you're already subscribed so we can keep growing here at Unique Access Entertainment. I'm Soren Baker.
Amir, Rahimi.
And D.O.C and Prince Paul. Thank you for this one.
Be sure to check out the history of gangster rap by Soren Baker. He's official.
History of Gangster Rap features exclusive interviews with Ice-T, Snoop Dogg, MC Ren, the D.O.C, and dozens of others. The History of Gangster Rap, a definitive look at how Los Angeles changed rap forever.
In Los Angeles, the streets definitely set the tone of the hip-hop music.
At 19, I got a $50,000 car.
My whole angle always was, I'll be street, but I will always tell you the horrors that go along with this life.
There will be penalties and casualties for just wearing the wrong color in somebody's neighborhood.
And once gangster rap made it from the streets to the TV, the genre exploded.
With Fab 5 on Yo MTV back with NWA.
Yo MTV, it just catapulted us from being local heroes to national gangbang rappers.
The History of Gangster Rap discusses it all from 1980 up till today.
It's always gonna be shit happening in the streets. You know what I mean? So it's always gonna be something to talk about.
The History of Gangster Rap in stores now.